materiality of each of those officers. And that first sort of assessment period is now complete. That was for the original 7 federally indicted officers. So unfortunately for us, however, because of the subsequent testimony of the officers in the GTTF case, which implicated additional sort of more expansive criminality, as well as additional officers, we have to expend a great deal of more resources that could potentially impact thousands of cases.
How long do you think a full review will take to get to the bottom of how many cases were impacted by this?
So what we know from our numbers of the original 7 federally indicted officers was that there were more than 284 cases that were impacted. That includes 187 cases that were ultimately no-prossed or dismissed, about 135 motions to vacate or withdrawals of guilty pleas. So it's a great deal of resources. You know, this is an assessment that we have to make, understanding and recognizing that public safety is our #1 sort of priority. We're not just going in and getting rid of every case that these officers are involved in. We have to make a thorough evaluation as to the materiality of whether that case relies upon the credibility of those officers.
Now, Public Defender's Office has said in the past there could be thousands of cases. Do you think thousands is, do you think the number is in the thousands, or do you think that's way too many, or do you just not know at this point?
So based upon our assessment of the first 7 federally indicted officers, it did not implicate thousands of cases. But what we now know, based upon, again, the subsequent testimony of the GTTF officers, was that they have implicated a more expansive time period for the criminality of each of those officers, as well as have implicated other officers. And when we do a preliminary sort of assessment, just pulling the cases that involve those officers, not really getting to the evaluation that we have in the first federally indicted officers, it could be possibly and potentially thousands of cases.
And there are